Hey everybody, welcome to what's going to be, for me, a unique episode of the Model Train Outsider. I don't do product reviews. I don't feel I have enough knowledge and expertise on most things to truly do a review. But in this case I'm going to make an exception because it's relatively simple and yet I find them really cool. What I'd like to share with you is a new company. They're called PT Trains. They're a Portuguese company, and I'll have a link down below as well as scrolling across the screen somewhere here. As I mentioned, they're a Portuguese company, a new startup company by a group of Portuguese model train people who decided that a certain type of vehicle could be upgraded, and they make container cars. They make containers and they make the cars, but they just released the containers. I don't know when the cars and wagons that these are designed to go on will come out. Right now you got to put them on your own. Anyhow, I saw these advertised about 3 months ago. I pre-ordered them because I wanted some longer ones, and I wanted them specifically of companies I see in Germany. And when I saw these in pictures and I saw the demos of them from after the Nuremberg Toy Fair, I was just really impressed. I didn't think container cars straight out of the box could be that impressive. But these definitely changed that opinion. And so I ordered a couple just to throw onto my freight car. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not big into freight and transport. I'm a passenger trains guy. But anyhow, I did buy these and I'd like to share them with you, so let's have a look. Alright, so I bought 3 of these just to get a glimpse at them. And these were for about 14 euros, which is about 15 and a half American dollars, probably somewhere around 14 pounds in the UK. And as I mentioned, I bought 3 of them, but Homburg is a company I see on freight trains all the time, and of course Maersk is another one you see all the time. And I picked up an MSE more because I just like the color variation than anything else. So let's look at this. I'm going to start with the Homburg. Now, first of all, for freight cars, these come in very nice box packaging. You've got your infamous block of ice, and when you take it out here, you just pull it apart, set that aside, and then nicely wrapped. And I have not had these out. I've been waiting to do this as a video, but I know what they do. But what struck me in their introductory video and some previews, the quality of print. I mean, I don't know if this camera will focus in. Let me see. Look at the quality of print. Look at all the warnings, signs and stickers and that. Look on the detail on the back side. Look at that detail. Come on, focus. Probably should use my camera phone with the ultra high def, but this is just easier. So the detailing on this is amazing. At least to me. Maybe people are going, I'm not impressed. Also, the doors open. And I know there are other companies that do that. And the detail inside, I mean, it's just gray, but it's very realistic in terms of the detail. But the doors open so you can set up these as part of a display, sort of a loading and unloading at a dock display if that so interests you. So these are really, really sharp. And they come in both the 40-foot version scale, 40-foot scale version, and the 20-foot scale version. I bought the longer ones because most of my models have the short. When you compare it to, let's say, this Maersk container that I bought for about 8.5 euros in Germany, still a lot of detail. I mean, you can't criticize Maersk for detail. It's very sharp. And of course, if you're into weathering, you'd weather that up, make it look a little rusty and used. But again, the detailing is quality enough. But when you compare it to this new company, PT Trains, I think these guys do win a bit. I just think the detailing, the door handles, and all the signage is just really definitely a step up. Again, the Märklin that I have here, actually this is not Märklin, I apologize, this was a Fowler. This was a Fowler container car. So again, and Fowler does good stuff. But very sturdy, no complaints. There's no reason to be unhappy with this. But these guys, as a new startup company, they really go just a little bit more. The detailing in the door, the fact that these doors open. Now this is at least 1.5 times the price of this. This is just your basic. Same scale. Now, one drawback when you're trying to be so realistic and so detailed, and again, we'll try to get this to focus, is most companies, when they make their container wagons, these details here are just molded in. This Portuguese company, and you gotta give them a lot of kudos, as we say in English in America, these are not molded on. These are separately attached pieces. But the problem is they're so thin, and you can see here, the glue, because you got such a limited area, may not necessarily always adhere, so you might get this. Now obviously you can touch that up with a bit of glue, but you really have to do it in such a micro spot so that it doesn't show as a patch or repair. So that's always a drawback whenever you're doing this fine of work. I mean, that is barely, I don't even know if that's a millimeter wide on the post here. But yes, when I took it out of the package here, that definitely popped loose as I was messing with the doors. So that's always a drawback. It's not the case on every single car. I bought 3. This is the only one where that was the case, but it's also the one I was mucking about with the most. So that's always the trade-off. When you go for these fine details, to make the piece look just that much more realistic, you run the risk of having very fragile pieces that either the glue does not adhere or they break too easily. So that's why I never say, oh yeah, buy or don't buy. You have to make a call there. That's something that a pro can, or even I can, readily fix, but it is a danger, it is a hazard. If there's one drawback on these cars, it's on the bottom. And it's not that the bottom is not any more or less detailed, but if I can get this Fowler car up here. These cars have little plastic nubs right at the end here. Everybody who has container cars knows these. And these are designed to fit on the car. Let me bring a car over here. This is a Märklin car. And so anybody who does trains knows that when you have a container wagon, it has the little holes here, and that allows you to take various sizes, and the nubs fit right into the holes, and that keeps this on while it's running down the road. Well, these Portuguese gentlemen don't do that. These do not have the nubs. Now, their explanation was that to do certain things, especially hinging the doors and that, they couldn't put them where they should be. So when you go to put this on your train, it's going to go around a corner and it's going to slide off. But there are a couple of fixes for that. It's not that hard at all. First thing you can do is, if you're never going to move these or take them off, you're always going to have them on the wagon, you could glue them. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But you can do that if it's just going to be part of your display. But what you can do and it's relatively easy. You just take a small piece of 1 mil plastic piping, and you'll just cut off, maybe a 2 millimeter length, and you can just glue them on the bottom in each corner, and then they will fit in place. So it's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. You can line them up to fit anywhere you want on this, because as you can see, these have a series of grooves on them. Again, the company is making its own wagons that these are designed to fit on, which have their own little bracings up here. I'll put a picture of a couple of their advertised wagons, because they actually make those wagons, these cars, tailored fit so that numbers match and everything. I don't know if that's that important in detail, but they design wagons to match the individual cars. So anyhow, that is a new company from Portugal, PT Trains, and this is their first release. This is their container wagons. I believe down the road they are planning on doing locomotives and such, but right now they're just doing container cars, and they are planning on releasing the matching wagons that these will fit on and won't slide off. But again, it is a simple, probably take you 10 minutes. You just cut and glue just a small little piece of piping here. You can do wire, you can do plastic, and just you glue the little nub. They'll fit right inside the holes here, and line it up as you wish, however you wish. So I don't think that's a big problem. It is a little bit. I've already seen a couple of professional guys reviewing who love these, but are a little, they took points off for them not creating the nubs for fitting into the cars, because in HO scale, all the companies that make these, this is kind of a standard arrangement. But yeah, that is my PT Trains review for these container wagons. Again, the colors are amazing. So that is the Homburg Süd, and I probably should have got a couple of these, but I only got the one. There we go. But if you compare the detail just on the doors, the molded, that shows up nicely, the molded versus the applied, you can see just how they stand out better. Obviously the white coloring versus orange will make them stand out a bit, but yeah, it creates a greater sense of depth. This really looks like the metal poles sticking in, where this looks just a little bit more like, hey, it's molded onto the door. So yeah, I do think these are a step up from these. One last comparison, as I'm holding them there, this feels a little heavier. This standard Fowler feels a little heavier than this. But considering this is also from a large mass-producing company like Fowler, and this is a startup company from some guys in Portugal. Now, yes, they had this made in China, but that it's just a couple of gentlemen actually from Portugal starting up. Again, in American English, we say you give them an A for effort. I think you have to decide yourself how you feel about the quality with these. I just think these are brilliant. The Homburg Süd, the Maersk Gray, I just think these are so much, they really are sharp. I mean, that's my word. It's just really sharp. There's no other way to put it. Well, I have a master's in English. There's 100 ways to put it, but I just find the detailing and just a little bit extra attention to detail on these absolutely amazing. Obviously, every company has its own marking, but I looked at these cars and I just thought, wow, that looks exactly what I see when I'm in Germany and we go to Hamburg or we go to Bremen and we see some of the freight trains coming through. And there you can see I've been messing with my fingers too long and the shakes have hit. But these are just very well done. There's no other way to put it. They're very well done. Yes, they're fragile in a couple of areas. The doors you should be careful with, but the options, that the scenes you can open, inspectors going in if you've got a harbor portage scene or a freight yard, and inspectors checking in, or you can load it with freight. I just think these are really well done, especially for a first try, and for the price compared to this just a basic model, and just that difference in price. This came in a little plastic bag with a little cardboard top. These cars are coming in these nice little, almost like locomotive boxes that you would find. So again, the company is PT Trains. Check them out online. Look at what they've got. See if there's something that would work for you. I'm knocking things all over here. And see how you think you'd like them rolling around your track. I just find them really, really sharp. I just think they really would look good on anybody's HO train. I don't know how they'd work with. Double O scale. I mean, I suppose if you did a whole rake of just this level, then they might not look so out of place. But I just find these to be really. I'm pleased with them. That's all I'll say. So, well done to PT Trains for their first efforts out there. I think. This is a company that's going to do something. For the third time, I'm going to tell you, check out their site. Look at their page. I think they've got 20 or 30 of these already out and available. Take your pick. I just picked 3 different ones. I would have happily grabbed 2 or 3. But I was getting them from Germany, and I had to get just enough that it made the shipping worth the cost. But so there it is. Anyhow, from the Model Train Outsider, I am going to say thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, or ignore. But anyhow, we'll see you with the next episode. Happy trains. Bye.